Hello everybody, it's Foxy speaking, and welcome to another episode of Foxy's Fun Inspirational Chats. And today I will be your host. And in this episode, this is another Robert the Cat story. Robert the Cat. And this one is going to be Robert the Cat's adventure on a adventure across the country and on a steam sailing boat. That is. Robert the Cat, who was a real enthusiast cat, loved trains, as we all know. But Robert the Cat always had a zest for life and was always bursting for adventure. And one day he decided to do another adventure despite having stowed away on a diesel train. He decided, okay, well, I think it's time to have another adventure, he thought to himself. He always loved nothing more than a fun adventure, Robert did. And the adventure he decided to do today was to sneak up on whatever train he could to go to the Lake District. And so he decided to walk to his nearest railway station. As he left his house and he had eaten his breakfast, Robert the Cat walked his way to his nearest railway station, or the railway station nearest to his owner's home residency. He arrived at the station as there were no ticket barriers, and stealthily walked along the platform. Trains never worried him. And decided to get on the platform to catch whatever London train he could. But in a way where he could be unnoticed. So, as Robert sat on the platform waiting for a train, he watched whatever train was passing by from the trains that were not stopping at the station nearest to his hometown until the London train had arrived. Before long, the London train arrived and Robert the Cat sneakily boarded the train where the conductor did not notice him and people would not notice him. And so he came onto the train and found an empty space. He leapt up into the luggage rack, curled up in a ball, and then he fell fast asleep in it. The train doors closed and the passenger train left the railway station. The train left the station and Robert the Cat, curled up in a ball, had a nice snooze on the train, and decided he was going to have a nice, lovely snooze throughout the whole journey until the train had reached the London railway station. The train passed through many tunnels, went through various countrysides, stopped and left various different stations to pick up passengers and drop off passengers to get to their needing places of locality for their work purposes or for leisure purposes. The journey felt like a very long time. But it did not bother Robert the Cat one little bit. He was hoping he would succeed in going up to the Lake District to have a ride in a steamboat, as he did watch a steamboat on the television, which was something his owners were watching. What it'd be like to ride on the steamboat in the Lake District. As the journey continued to progress, Robert suddenly ended up dreaming as he was snoozing, as it was going to be a while yet before he would be reaching Greater London. As he was sleeping, he was dreaming just what a wonderful time he would have having a ride on the steamboat in the Lake District, thinking of himself as Robert the Cat, the steamboat cat and the first cat to ride on a steamboat. Before long, the trip was up, and Robert the Cat's dream was over, and before long the train had arrived in London. And as all the passengers got off the train as it was terminating at the Greater London Railway Station, a janitor boarded the train to get his janitorial task done. And as he was walking in the train, he saw a black-looking circle in the luggage rack of the train, but little did he know it was Robert the Cat. So he got his hand up, put his hand on the black thing before he felt a sudden movement, and the sudden movement, much to his surprise, was Robert the Cat, who had moved in sudden shock and woke up in shock. Robert said. Robert was angry with the man who had grabbed him, but the man did not know it was Robert the Cat. "Ah, unfriendly cat, go away, you beast," said the janitor rudely towards Robert, and walked away angrily to get through his janitorial task. Robert just hissed and glared as the janitor walked to the next carriage to clean up the train. "What's the commotion going on here?" the conductor said. Learning that there might be trouble going on, or that he might have caused some trouble unintentionally, Robert leapt down from the luggage rack, and the train conductor saw something black and small trundling towards him, until it got bigger and bigger, and there was Robert the Cat. "I don't believe it," the train conductor said to himself. "A cat has stowed away on board the train." Someone at the station overheard this and boarded the train and said, "What? A cat has stowed aboard the train?" The conductor asked. The person asked. "I take photographs of newspapers. I'm going to shoot one right now." And so he got his camera out of the bag and decided to get a good picture of Robert. The train conductor stood next to Robert, and Robert, knowing that it was picture time, sat down, posing for a good picture, and the photographer shot the photograph of the conductor and Robert the Cat, and once he'd shot his one and only photograph, he said, "This is going to make a good headline in a newspaper. I think this will be a famous cat." The person said, "See ya, you two," the person said, and he leapt off the train and walked away to wherever he needed to go, likely to the newspaper office, to get the journalism story done that a cat had stowed away on board a train. But a few moments after the photographer had left, the train conductor walked over to Robert and said, "I wonder who you belong to, cheeky cat," he said. He noticed Robert's collar. He knelt down closely to Robert and gently moved his collar to see if he had a name on it. And once he saw the little print, he looked at it and saw the telephone number of Robert's owners, for the house telephone number of Robert the Cat's owners, and then looked at the name it said on it, and it said Robert. "Robert, you are one unusual cat, aren't you?" the conductor said. "It's a good thing you have a collar with your owner's telephone number on it. Come on, I've got to take you into the office." he said, and so he picked up Robert the cat, which Robert the cat did not mind doing, and then they boarded off the train together. It looked to be an unusual sight at the busy London railway station, as everybody was looking towards the conductor, who was holding the cat in his hands. This began to make the conductor feel a little bit self-conscious, but he just kept going and kept walking despite the unusual sight he, holding Robert the cat, presented at the Greater London station. Lots of people ended up getting out their cameras and shooting pictures of the conductor holding Robert the cat at London Victoria railway station, as well as people possibly shooting videos to put onto the internet online. Before long, the conductor arrived into the office, and there he was greeted by the manager. The manager was shocked to see a cat being held in the conductor's arms. "What are you doing with this cat?" the manager asked the conductor. "I found the cat on board the train. He's stowed away on board the train," the conductor said. "In what way did you find the cat?" the manager asked. When I was walking in the carriage to check if there was nothing suspicious on board as the train terminated," the conductor said, "I found this cat. This cat is not any cat. He's one rather intelligent but fairly unusual cat," the conductor responded, as the manager had asked him the question. The manager stared strictly at the conductor for a while, but once the hard stare was over, he walked towards Robert and then picked up Robert in his hands and looked at his collar. "It's lucky he's got owners," he said to the conductor. "Right, come on you, we've got to get you home." And so he put Robert down on his desk, and holding the collar which showed Robert the cat's owner's house telephone number, he put in the numbers on the telephone, pressed the button and began to dial the telephone. Meanwhile, at Robert the cat's owner's house, the house telephone began ring, 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 ring. One of the owners, being the husband, walked off from his armchair and picked up the house telephone. "Hello," the husband said. "Oh, hello," said the conductor's manager at the London railway station. "We've got Robert, your cat, here. He appears to have stowed away on board one of the trains that arrived here at London Victoria." "What? Robert in London Victoria? That's a very busy station. Are you pulling my leg?" Robert's owner asked in absolute surprise. He was deeply surprised that Robert the cat had stowed away on board a London Victoria railway train, or a London Victoria rail service. "This is true," the manager said. "This is no lie. It's really true." The conductor on board the London Victoria train service found Robert the cat on board the train as he was finishing his duty. "But he's got an extra duty to do now," the manager said. "Okay," Robert's owner said. "Now, I've really been wondering where Robert is. He seems to be gone for a great number of hours again." "Well," the manager said, the conductor here, he will be on the next service down to your nearest station, and he will hand over Robert to you, where you will be able to retrieve him," the manager said. Excellent, Robert's owner said. Well, the wife and I should be down at the station in about an hour or two. Okay, goodbye. Thank you, good sir, the man said, and he respectfully put the telephone down, and Robert's owner sighed in relief, knowing that his catch was safe. What would we have done had we not put a collar on Robert, he thought. Meanwhile, in the manager's office at London Victoria railway station, the manager looked towards Robert and said, well, the next service to stopping at your nearest train station is due in another 10-15 minutes, the manager said to Robert. Meow, Robert said in response. Well, you can't really be heard in a big station. This could cause an unintended disturbance, the manager said. I think what you were meaning to do was have an adventure, the conductor said to Robert. But London Victoria is not the best place for a cat to have an adventure to. Realising that the conductor was right, Robert had made a mistake and knew that getting on the train to London for an adventure was not the best thing to have done. It could have been potentially dangerous for him to have done something like that. But little did he know that London could, in some areas, be extremely rough and riddled with crime, as can any place of locality. Before long, it was time for the conductor to get on board the train and take Robert with him. So he picked up Robert and put him in his arms. And then he said, and the manager said to the conductor, make sure you hand Robert the cat over to his owners, the manager said, and do let me know when some time after Robert the cat's owners have retrieved Robert. Knowing that his manager was serious, the conductor responded, not to worry, I will do it right away, sir, he said, and respectfully left the manager's office with Robert the cat in his arms. The conductor walked over to the platform where the train would be awaiting, as it was due to leave in less than 10 minutes. He began to feel again self-conscious because of the unusual sight he presented at London Victoria railway station. But before long, he had boarded the train sooner than he thought. He got Robert out of his arms, and Robert the cat began to walk, observing the carriage, and then found an empty space in the luggage rack and leapt up above it and curled up in a ball and fell fast asleep, snoozing, as he suddenly realised his trip to Windermere in the Lake District was not eventually going to succeed for the day, after all, despite his attempted try. The train conductor made the announcement, and before long the train left London Victoria railway station. The journey was long once again, but Robert didn't mind. He was happy he had an adventure, but at the same time under much disappointment for not being able to see Windermere in the Lake District or riding a steamboat in Windermere in the Lake District. But he knew that had he hung around in London for too long, he could have been kidnapped or potentially killed, as it was a potentially dangerous thing he had done. Before long, the train arrived at Preston Park railway station, which was his reasonably nearest railway station to his home residency. And before long, the conductor woke up Robert as they were soon to be arriving at Preston Park station. And so Robert leapt down from the luggage rack and walked over to the door where the conductor was going to press the door release before the proceedings to the closed procedures. and so the conductor picked up Robert and put him in his arms. And once the train had sufficiently stopped at Preston Park railway station, he pressed the door release, the doors opened, and then the conductor walked out holding Robert in his hands. The conductor saw Robert the cat's owners and passed over Robert the cat to Robert the cat's owners with his kitty cage readily in hand. "Oh, Robert!" said the owners of Robert the cat. And as the conductor passed Robert over to Robert the cat's owner, the owner picked him up and gave him a great big cuddle once again. "Oh, Robert, Robert, Robert," said the owner, "you've done it again, haven't you? Gosh, you've gone on an adventure once again, haven't you?" said the owner as she dotingly gave him a big cuddle. And then before long, once the cuddle times were over, they put Robert in the cage and thanked the conductor profusely, but then he said, "I do thank you very much, and your wonderful cat owners, but I need to get on board the train now because it's about to leave." And knowing that the conductor could not make the train leave Preston Park Station late, they said their quick goodbye as he ran on board the train hurriedly so that he'd be able to tell the train to leave and let the driver know that the train should leave Preston Park Station on time and not late. The door closed and the train left, and the conductor, though he could not properly say goodbye to Robert the cat and Robert the cat's owners, he gave them a respectful wave as the train pulled out of Preston Park railway station en route to Brighton. And so Robert the cat's owners walked to the way out of Preston Park railway station, put Robert the cat, who was in the cage, in the boot of the car, and drove back home to their home residency. They got back home, they let Robert out of the cage, and Robert leaped up the stairs and over to his model rail, and then this time he turned the model railway on himself, since he had been learning a trick on how to activate the model railway, even though he was only a cat, but he intelligently figured a way out to use his model railway. And Robert the cat's owners walked up to the bedroom because they heard a noise, and there they saw Robert having taken control of the model railway, having figured out how to control the model railway all himself. Both of them laughed. But yet they knew their Robert the cat loved nothing more than railway trains and the railways. But there was much to come. Robert the cat got through his dinner, as did the owners, a bit of television, and then before long it was time for Robert the cat's owners to go to bed. Robert the cat got onto the bed of his owners, curled up in a ball, and fell fast asleep. As little did he know, unbeknownst to himself and his owners, there was going to be much excitement to come. The morning came. Robert the cat woke up, stretched and yawned, and woke up his owners, telling them that it was breakfast time and time to watch the morning news. His owners slowly woke up and, slowly feeling tired, got out of bed. As they got out of bed, but still in their pyjamas and dressing gowns, they walked down the stairs and turned on the television. As they turned on the television to watch the morning news, Robert the cat and his owners were in for a very big surprise. The news that Robert the cat had stowed aboard the London Victoria train from Preston Park was being spoken about on the news. And there was the picture of Robert the cat and the conductor on the news, talking about the cat who stowed away on board the railway train to London Victoria. The conductor was being interviewed. He was saying, "Well, Robert the cat has wonderful owners, and I'm pretty sure he's watching. I have to feel he's one extraordinary cat and not unusual. He's full of intelligence, I must admit. He's one intelligent kitty cat, I think, the conductor said, talking fondly of Robert the cat. Robert the cat's owners, surprised and speechless, but very proud of their cat, believing that though he sneakily snuck away and stowed away to have an adventure, only to fail in getting it fully completed, they were so proud that they were able to touch the heart of a person. Realizing that their cat is very good at being able to bond with other people and other cats, his owners could not have felt more proud for their cat. And now they're like, Robert, you're famous now. You're our famous cat, Robert the cat's owners said. And so, Robert the cat, as the news continued, as it was not over yet, once the news was over, Robert the cat's owners walked over to Robert, stroking him and giving him much cuddles, feeling so proud of their cats, said, You're going to make us world famous. Oh yes, you're going to be a world famous cat. You're going to be a world famous cat. Oh yes, said his owners as they stroked and tickled and cuddled him in affection, feeling deeply proud of their cat, their intelligent and wondrous cat, Robert. Robert the cat, even though he thought of himself as just a cat who was a rail enthusiast cat, little could he have realized until this very day he is certainly one intelligent and an extraordinary special cat that the world had seen. The end. Thanks everybody indeed for watching. It's another Robert the cat story. There'll certainly be very many more Robert the cat stories where that came from. And not sure when the next Robert the cat story will be, but we'll need to think hard on when the next one is. This one just came up last moment, you know. But if at any point I got lost for words sometimes, to you, Dave Bryan, if you were watching, and certainly to you as well, Fiona and Graham, if I did get lost for words, Fiona, Graham and Dave, my most profound apologies. It was not intended. I was trying to think carefully on what I was telling with the story for moments when I got lost for words. But here's the Robert the cat story anyway, another one. For those of you who are interested in watching the very first pilot Robert the cat story, the link to the video of that Foxy's Fun Inspirational Chats episode representing the pilot episode of Robert the cat himself will be linked in the description below. And the other Robert the cat sequels, the first Robert the cat being the first debut Robert the cat story, even though it's really the second Robert the cat story, but his first big break debut, will also be linked, and as well as the next one after that. Thanks all for watching, and I'll certainly see you in the very next video. Ta-ta, another time. From Foxy.